Hey guys, this is Bike Talk with Bikelane. We're going to introduce ourselves.
My name is Fernando. I'm 16 years old and I've been riding my bike since I was 5 years old.
My name is Edwin, owner and operator, veteran bicycle rider.
And I'm Wilmer, technician here at Bikelane. Pretty much been riding since I was 5 as well.
And I'm Frankie E. Rivera. That's Frankie with a Y, not an I-E. Sales manager here at Bikelane. I'm also a visual communicator and graphic designer. With that being said, hi guys.
What's up, guys?
How you guys doing?
We're here. This is the first podcast with Bikelane. BTB for short, correct? Can we?
Yeah.
BTB.
Yeah. So, just so everybody knows, this is going to be a podcast of everything bike. Bike news, bike safety, bicycles, what's new in the industry, what's going on around the world, and how biking has affected everyone. And we're going to start off with the most important topic, which is bike safety.
That is number
Bike
one.
Safety. 100%. So lately, guys, if you haven't been noticing, this year alone, there's been a lot of deaths.
And accidents.
Yeah, but a lot more deaths. Last year, I did some research in an article that I read yesterday in the daily newspaper. And they said that last year alone, at this time, July 2018, there was only 10 deaths last year. This year, yesterday officially made 19. 19 deaths alone.
And according to the media, it's the highest it's ever been. And 19 people dying on a bike is, that's a lot of people.
It's a big deal.
That's a very big deal. So we could start talking about why people get into accidents while riding their bikes.
Right.
So one of the major causes is people not being aware of cycles. So a lot of us, well, all of us actually ride our bikes. One rides his bike, Frank rides his bike, Wilmer, Fernando, and we run into a lot of these people. But there's different types of riders. So I consider myself like an expert rider. I consider you guys expert riders. But there's a lot of novice riders and a lot of clueless riders out there that ride their bike. NYU actually broke down all the NYC biking laws and safety tips. You can find them up at the end of the video. We'll have a link to it so you guys can read it and educate yourselves. One of the major issues, well, it's not a deadly issue unless you're going really fast, is getting doored by a car. Who has experience with that?
Who has experienced that? Did you get doored before?
I'm actually glad to have not been doored.
Yes.
I don't want to be doored.
It'll happen.
You don't. I definitely have been doored.
How'd that go?
I felt more bad for the door, but it didn't happen to me.
It's because you fucking
Unfortunately, it actually happened around the vicinity. We're right now on Jamaica Avenue, 85th and 13th Jamaica Avenue, just in case you want to come and visit us. And on my way home, going down the block, it was around 72nd Street and 76, 77, something like that. And it was a cab driver. They were supposedly at a red light, and I'm trying to go around him. And unfortunately, the passenger, literally, they didn't open the door. They swung the door with lethal intentions. That's how it looked visually, and that's how it felt. First of all, I wasn't over speeding. Like, I wasn't going OD fast. If it was my fault, I don't mind to, how do you say, admit that. Like, yeah, I was ODing. I was speeding, blah, blah, blah. I really wasn't. I was cruising on my way back home, and I was just trying to get around, and this door just swung open. And I mean, at the moment, I was like, I was doing my thing. I didn't have my new bike, which the description will be below as well. But I barreled right through, and unfortunately, I couldn't get any information because the driver and the passenger didn't want anything to do with me. They didn't stop. They literally got back in the car and ran off, even while there was a red light.
Wow.
So that is my dooring experience.
Respect that.
No.
So,
I kind of been like that with no respect. I was casually riding. Everything pretty much slowed down, and I saw everything play out. The guy was on his phone on FaceTime, and I quickly took a glance to look at behind me. There's no car coming, and then boom, I turn around, hit the door right there, and the guy's like, he was about to get in. He's like, no, I'm gonna step out. At least he stepped out and asked me if I was okay. But
Did
you destroy that door?
I kind of did destroy the door.
The only revenge is destroying the door.
I had
You have to plow through that
I had
door.
a really beefy scratch.
Alright. So, recently, it's only become illegal to get doored. So now these drivers can actually get in trouble, which is
Good.
Which is good.
great news. Because before that, you had to pretty much destroy their door so you can feel good. Like, man, I just got destroyed by this door, and my bike's fucked up, and I'm fucked up, and nothing happens. But now it's illegal in the state of New York. So thank you.
Well, a major issue why they made it illegal now, because recently, and unfortunately I didn't have her name, but a young lady, very well safely equipped it with helmet. She had everything that she needed on her bike. She got doored this year. This happened, I believe, early last month, and she's dead. She died because of that. So unfortunately for her, she didn't get an experience like we did, where we just plowed through the door, or it wasn't. We didn't get fully.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still here to talk about it. Unfortunately, this young lady, which I'm gonna get her name pretty soon, she didn't make it, and she got demolished.
Oh, that was the 30-year-old yoga instructor.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
in the city. Yeah, that's pretty sad because I'm 30. So I couldn't ride in her.
Unfortunately.
But anyways, in order to not get doored, you know what's the simplest way? There is none. Because people don't give a shit. So there's no defensive bike riding that you can do to avoid a door. You just have to have quick reflexes. If you see somebody opening a door, pop your brakes or try to go around them. But if you try to go around them, there could be a car coming and then you get smushed. That is one of the things that's pretty much the most dangerous thing about biking, is getting smacked by a door. If you follow the rules of the road, which you are supposed to, by the way,
All the time.
stop at red light, stop sign, signal, use a light, use a bell or a horn. Getting doored is terrible, but it happens.
Every day, to the best of us.
All right.
And another thing is that when you're getting doored, or you have someone, let's say, that is angry at something that you have done, a lot of people tend to ride onto the sidewalk to get away from them. But in a lot of places in Manhattan, they made that illegal. And it
They go around the city.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of bad, because if someone's basically harassing you after maybe you cut them off because you were trying to get around a cab, or trying to get around parked drivers that are parked inside of the bike lane, and they start harassing you because you were trying to get around the person, then you're gonna have to go on the sidewalk, and that could cost you a ticket, basically. But you were doing the way you were supposed to do when
You're
there's
doing your
people.
best
Exactly,
to avoid
if
the
you're getting
situation.
attacked.
Well, that kind of goes back to the different levels of riders. So, let's say if you're one of those clueless riders, you just rented a bike from a shop and you've never ridden a bike or haven't ridden a bike in 10 years, and you're out there riding in the streets, you're not going to know how to jump onto a sidewalk. You're going to have to kind of jump or kind of hop onto a sidewalk. You're not going to know how to do that. But if you're an experienced rider, you will know how to jump onto a sidewalk, and if you do know how to, it is a good way to try to get around cars. But again, it takes experience to not hit somebody, or to not hit something, or to be able to cut really fast through a car, or even just to grab your brakes really quickly. Best way to not get hit by a car is just ride your bike. Practice, be aware, make sure you're not drunk, high. We don't condone any type of behavior. Just ride your bike, have fun. But what Fernando was trying to say is ride safe.
Yeah, right, very safe.
I mean, if there comes to a point where if you have to get on the sidewalk, be considerate of the people that's on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right.
You know you're not supposed to be, unless you're a young child.
Right.
13 and under.
Exactly. You can be on the sidewalk, but if you're a grown adult and you know you just happen to need to be on the sidewalk for whatever. For instance, another example I like to give. life experiences. So yeah, pretty much. So I like to always take different routes when I get to work, or when I'm gonna head to Victory Field, Forest Park. And I like to go different ways, because different ways will take you there faster. Maybe you just want a different scene. It all depends. Lately, I've been going down Myrtle Avenue towards Woodhaven. Myrtle Avenue towards Woodhaven, they just recently redid the streets, and it's really nice. I don't know if you guys took a ride. You should take a ride. It's smooth as eggs. Smooth. It's very nice. Unfortunately, from Woodhaven all the way towards about where I live at, around, let's say, Seneca Avenue, around there, the streets are very narrow, and there is absolutely no bike lane. So when you get to a point where you hit Myrtle and, let's say, where the cemetery is at, right? That whole strip is just very narrow, and it's very dangerous. And there's some times that I literally have to go on the sidewalk just to be considerate of like drivers behind me. I don't have to, but I'm being considerate for them, because I know they're behind me and they can't go around, and I can't move over enough. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get on the sidewalk for a second, let everybody pass, and then I'll get back on the street. That's one of those examples where we just have to, as an adult, we have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the government definitely is advising everyone and bike safety, because everywhere you go, you will now see a bike lane. Now bike lanes are starting to be a part of New York, and basically almost everywhere you go, you will see a bike lane. And if anything happens inside of that bike lane, you will be protected some way or another.
So thank you, DOT, for the bike lanes. The city is finally catching up to the rest of the world as far as being more bike friendly. But it's a little slow, but it's happening.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. Like the new one on Cyprus. That is lovely.
I was there throughout the whole process of that, and it feels great.
Don't you feel so much better riding on your own?
I feel very safe, because there never was a bike lane from Cyprus to the Jackie Robinson, right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been a straight free fall. I always felt like I was Mad Max. Like I just had to, because there's a little mini sidewalk area.
Yeah.
No one goes on that. I don't even want to walk on that. There's nothing but debris and more death. Like there's, no, I'm serious. You have,
It's just ironic next to the cemetery.
you guys gotta take a walk. Like I walk a lot, but if you notice, there's glass all over the place, big pieces of metal, a whole bunch of rocks. There's no way I'm gonna take my bike up there. I'm very flat conscious. I don't like flats, and even just to ride by on either on that sidewalk, which I don't, and I advise no one to. It's crazy that some people do. Or even back in the days before the bike lane was there was just nothing but straight free fall, and it was just hardcore. You just like, because some cars, they just want to race. They want to go up the hill and make that sharp turn. And I always see accidents on Cyprus. There's been many.
Lots of speeders.
Yes, it's ridiculous. So having a bike lane there now, it's
So the city's working a lot, actually, to slow down speeders.
So speaking of cars.
Right.
So luckily, the city is actually doing something about speeding and about these crazy drivers on the road. I drive. I also ride my bike most of the time, but I have a car, and it's out of necessity, and because it's a race car. So, RUV, Racing Utility Vehicles, Subaru Forester.
Call it the Frosty for short.
The Frosty. But anyways, the city is now implementing 24-hour speed cameras, and especially in school zones. And that's a huge deterrent. Like when I see it, when people are driving, they get scared. They're like, school zone, let me slow down. Even though they should be driving at the speed limit all over. We all do.
Right.
But it helps everybody out, because if you're driving at 25 miles an hour, which is the speed limit, your reaction time is so much better. Like you can stop. You see a cyclist, oh shit, let me stop. Oh shit, a squirrel. Oh, somebody's dog just ran to the road. You can stop.
Right.
But there's just so many angry, aggressive people that like driving fast. I don't drive my race car fast. Only at night. But the city is doing a good job at trying to make people slow down. And that goes a long way for everybody who's on the road because you just feel a little safer. Feel a little safer that something is trying to be done. It's gonna take a long time for people to be more bike conscious, especially the drivers, especially the aggressive ones in New York. But it's coming. It's getting there. I have faith.
So
And-
that. Oh, go ahead.
This goes back to, this pretty much goes for everything, like riding a bike or driving a car. It's always important to be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of, say you're riding a bike, always be aware of what's going on around you, the people in front of you, people behind you, etc., etc.
And also, I would like everyone to know, if you're ever driving your car and you see a cyclist in front of you, don't just honk your horn.
Oh my
continuously.
God, that is the worst. And then get out of the way.
Because at the end of the day, that's like, it's not necessary, and you're putting your life at risk because you don't have both hands on the wheel, and then you're putting the cyclist's life at risk because if you end up swerving out the lane and then hitting the cyclist, that's going to be more time on your hands. So just be
Patience is
conscious
key.
and
Patience
be patient
is-
about everything and everything about what is on the street and what is behind you, basically everything. Everything.
I think
Everything.
I think the perfect person. This is an article on the Daily News,
Yes, that's what I was
And-
gonna ask you about.
and it's called "Plea to End Cycle of Pain." This was August 14, 2019. There is a public advocate by the name of Jermaine Williams, and what Jermaine did, or I'm just gonna say Mr. Williams because I don't want to butcher his name. But he joined a street safety advocates yesterday, and for a bike ride from downtown Brooklyn to his office at 1 Center Street in Lower Manhattan. And he said what he said was the trip made him change the way he thinks about the dangers in New York, and that's only from Brooklyn to Manhattan. What he mentioned was very intriguing to me. He said, the fact of the matter is, on the road, the driver behind the multi-ton metal, that's exactly
The
what he
car.
said, the car, the truck,
Right.
the vehicle, is the most privileged position on the road. And then Williams said, after the ride, the pedestrian is the least privileged, and up from there is the cyclist. And then when he said, we just got to treat it that way when it comes to cyclists being mid-tier, civilians, regular pedestrians being the lowest of the safe individuals, and then we have the cars and the trucks and everything. And we have to treat it that way, as we need to know our place. And cars and vehicles on the road and on the streets need to know their place. They need to know that they have a responsibility, that they can kill somebody. And if they're behind us beeping the horn, like, settle down. Maybe I can't go this way. Or maybe I can't. I don't want to be in front of you. I didn't even know you was behind me.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Right.
Absolutely.
And
It's the worst. Hey, and we're back, guys. So full recap of our discussion for today. Bike safety, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can
Yes,
we
we did.
all agree that our main topic today, episode 1, was bike safety?
Right.
sir,
Facts. So, what can we do to ride safe?
Well, for starters,
number one.
helmet.
Helmets are important.
Very important.
So some other safety equipment you can get, you can always pick them up here at Bikelane, is tail lights, headlights, bells, and the most important part is ride consciously. It's not you that's the problem, it's everybody else that isn't aware. So you need to be aware for everybody else. Look around you, pay attention to your surroundings, don't get doored.
Yeah, that makes don't get doored. Also, just like Ed said, pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to the lights when they change. As cyclists, we have to pay attention to the laws as well.
Yep.
If the lights is turning yellow or is completely red, we must stop. Just like a motorist, basically.
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
NYC.gov, you can pull up the laws, or NYU broken down for you, so you can go to nyu.edu and put transportation, and they have them all up there.
Since we're talking about the city, what is the city doing to help us? Well, the city is putting out more bike lanes in many different areas. Definitely, that definitely an improvement. Good for safety as well, like we were saying. Good to stay in the bike lane. You know, you won't have to be too preoccupied of like the cars behind you because you're in your own lane.
Yep.
And always use them because at the end of the day, you're not gonna pay for it. You don't have to do anything for it.
Well,
You're just gonna ride. And since there's that new bike lane, just take the bike lane and have a safe trip, and it will help you out 100% because you'll have that own zone to yourself, and you'll be blocked away from the cars with just.
In a nutshell, what the city is doing, they're implementing a lot more bike lanes in all major cities. Not only in Manhattan, not only in Queens, but in Brooklyn, and also in the Bronx as well. Not only that though, but there are public advocates such as Jermaine Williams, that you can look him up, and taking initiative. They're going with cyclist activists and taking rides on certain journeys from one borough to another so that they can see what it's like in the day of the life of a cyclist. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Of course.
If you guys ever need some motivation or some talks, you can always come by. We're here every day except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays is when we're out riding. We're here to spread love, spread knowledge. Thank you guys. Episode 1.